welcome to the Echo Tips podcast. In this week's episode, we're going to be discussing Echo shows or Amazon Echoes with a screen versus the other Amazon Echoes, the traditional Echoes. And really what the demarcation between the two are and what kind of differences there are that exist between the two. But before we get into the different aspects of all of that, we're going to go to a brief message about our podcast, and then I'll be right back. This episode is brought to you by the New Vision program at Goodwill. We're also grateful for the kind use of WVTF Studios. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments living in Southwest Virginia. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a nonprofit organization serving the New River, Roanoke, and Shenandoah Valleys of Virginia. Goodwill's mission services help individuals with disabilities and disadvantages to get back to work and gain greater independence. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. Hello, welcome back. As I mentioned earlier, this week's episode is going to be dealing with the Amazon Echo Show line of devices or similar Echoes that have screens built into them versus the traditional Echoes like the original Pringle can model, later the Dots, the Dot Clock, and some of the many other Echoes that have come out. And so what are the big differences between those? So first off, let's take the Amazon Show line of Echoes with the screens on the front. There's a 10-inch, an 8-inch, a 5-inch. There's different generations of those, at least a first and second generation. What's the difference between those and most of those? Let me think. Yeah, all of those have cameras built into them. Versus maybe the traditional Echo that you think of like the Pringle can, the cylinder device, or the Echo Dot line, which don't have a screen. You just converse with them verbally. What are the core differences? Well, one of the big differences is controls. So with the ones that have no screen, you verbally have to command them to do everything. Otherwise, you have to open the A-Lady app on your smartphone or tablet. Now, contrast that with the Show, where it actually has a touch screen. Not only is it a screen, it's a touch screen, just like a tablet, and you can swipe down and you can adjust the volume. You can hit the settings button. You could change Wi-Fi, Bluetooth connectivity. There's subtle other things you can configure in there. In fact, an Amazon Echo Show, and this might be good for family or something like a Show, you don't even need an app, pretty much. You don't need another device or a computer to connect it to Wi-Fi. You could take it out of the box, a brand new box, plug it in, it will boot up, and it will ask you everything you need to know on the screen to connect to Wi-Fi, to connect to your personal account. It has an on-screen keyboard just like a tablet, and you can type that all in. And so that's kind of a unique utility to the Amazon Echo Show line that you don't necessarily have. Now, the other things I think will be kind of intuitive, but we'll go through some of those. Now, being that I am an assistive technology instructor, I often work with people with disabilities. Especially, I work with those with visual disabilities because I myself am legally blind and I can't see too well. And I work with some that have no vision. So first off, the Echo Show with the screen on it has similar functionality to the Fire tablet or other Android tablets. Namely, it has a built-in zoom component for those who need magnification. And so once that's enabled, you can take one finger and tap it 3 times and zoom in, and there's pinch to zoom, and you can manipulate that. Additionally, you have what's called Voice View, which is a screen reader. I'm just briefly touching on this because I know others might not be interested in this. And that's for those that are totally blind, so that when you run your finger over objects on the screen, it will tell you what's on there, and there's gestures to work with those things in this as well. So I think there's some color filters and other things as well. So let's move beyond that back to the traditional differences. Obviously, it has a screen, so you can display pictures and videos. So it's an excellent kind of and often used as like a digital picture frame. And you can upload your pictures to Amazon and then it just kind of scrolls through those. I have pictures of me and students in the classroom on the classroom model. And I think you can even put little short videos in there, and it won't play the audio, but it'll just kind of like show a little animation. I do believe I haven't done that yet. Also, it will display content up there. So, on a typical Echo Pringle can, I'll ask it to check Wikipedia and tell me about Abraham Lincoln. But on the Echo Show with the screen, it will also show me the text of the article and maybe a little picture of Abraham Lincoln in the top right corner. And similar things like that. I could also visually ask for a picture of Superman or something like that on the Echo Show, and it will visually show it to me. So I think most of that is probably intuitive. Now, what about video? That's a good question. Now, originally, the Echo Show could interface with YouTube and pull YouTube videos. It was fantastic, but there was a little bit of a tiff between Amazon and YouTube, and they've reconciled since then and made a lot of accommodations, I believe, on both sides. But still, on the Amazon Echo line, you cannot pull up YouTube videos. But you can pull up videos from other resources and even from Amazon Prime. Like movies or something maybe you've rented or you've bought, or if you have Amazon Prime, you can watch a lot of shows for free, so you could pull up that content as well. Now, additionally, it has a camera built into it, the Echo Show line, along with the screen, and so that gives you certain additional versatility that you can take pictures with it, you can do video conferencing with it, which I've done with my mother or other family members, and so that's another innate advantage of that. Now, with that in mind, our next episode, we're going to be talking about some of the Prime video content that you can pull up on your Echo Show, and that's the one I'm using here in studio. And so in our next episode, we'll be talking about that. But until that time, it's time to start practicing some of the many things that you've learned. And I'm David Ward for the New Vision program signing off. We thank you for listening.
Thanks, Dave. In conclusion, let me tell you a thing or two. This episode is brought to you by New Vision at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys, and it is also made possible in part by a grant from Community Foundation serving Western Virginia. And there's more. We're also grateful for the kind use of WVTF Studios. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments living in Southwest Virginia. For more information, check out our website at goodwillvalleys.com/newvision. with no spaces. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a nonprofit organization serving the New River, Roanoke, and Shenandoah Valleys of Virginia. Goodwill's mission programs help individuals with disabilities and disadvantages to get back to work and gain greater independence. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. Thanks for listening.